It looks like Trump's little freakout this morning over Jeffrey Epstein caught the eye of somebody who knows exactly how to twist the knife when it comes to Trump. Elon Musk took to Twitter and wrote, "How can people be expected to have faith in Trump if he won't release the Epstein files?" And of course, this is especially potent coming from Musk, what with this tweet being what brought the idea of deporting Elon into the zeitgeist. When he wrote, "Time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. This is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT." In other words, you've got the same guy who said Trump was in the files now confronting the White House about their rationale for not releasing them. I wonder if the two are related. Of course, you don't need to just take Elon's word for it. Trump himself offered up the biggest tell in the world when it comes to his desire to see the files actually get released.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would.
Granted, while Trump's rationale for not releasing the files is pretty damn clear, it's also worth noting that Elon Musk is not some white knight here either. After all, this video certainly existed when Elon was throwing hundreds of millions of dollars at Donald Trump to become the next president. It's not like his relationship with Epstein was some secret, as Trump himself likes to say.
"Oh, shut up, silly woman," said the reptile with a grin. "You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in."
In other words, you don't get to feign surprise when the guy who Epstein himself called his, quote, closest friend for 10 years doesn't release files that may very well implicate him. And Elon Musk is smart enough to know that. He's only saying something now because he's salty that Trump and Republicans rescinded the EV mandate in the budget bill, which is actually even worse if you think about it, because Elon knew long before he endorsed Donald Trump about his association with Epstein, but decided that all of that was permissible so long as he could derive some financial benefit from it. But when he feels that he's been slighted by the White House, again because of this EV mandate rescission, suddenly this information is disqualifying? Where was Elon months ago complaining about Trump's association with Epstein then? Elon claims in his tweet that Trump is in the Epstein files. Why didn't he bring that up when he actually worked in the White House, when he actually found that out? He was perfectly fine helping cover up that information when he was nabbing fat government contracts, wasn't he? In other words, Elon is exactly the thing he claims to be fighting against. The reality is that for these people, Epstein isn't some moral crusade. He's a bargaining chip. He's a way for someone like Elon to drive screws into Trump to get what he wants. Think about how fucked up that is. Both of these guys knew full well what was happening, and they pretended it mattered to them when they were on the campaign trail. That's why every Republican voter out there was cheering in vindication. They exploited that desire for accountability for votes and power, and yet once they had the chance to actually do something about it, meaning release the files, they disappeared. Surprised? You shouldn't be. This is what Trump does. It is his entire MO. He doesn't actually care about any of the things he promises supporters. That's how he lures people in. In his first term, he promised an infrastructure law that never materialized, a healthcare plan that was cheaper and more comprehensive that never materialized, a middle-class tax cut that never materialized, a jobs boom that never materialized, a manufacturing renaissance that never materialized. But he did make time for a tax cut for himself. And now, in his second term, he's doing the exact same thing, promising reduced costs and cheaper groceries and lower rent and housing prices, and yes, promising justice when it comes to Epstein's victims and accountability for his criminal associates. But he's not delivering on any of those things. The only thing he's actually done is give himself a tax cut yet again. How many times does Trump have to completely fuck you over before you begin to realize that lying is not a bug, it is a feature? He knows that he can say whatever he needs to say to get your vote, and that once he gets that vote, once he gets that power, he doesn't actually need to stand by anything. And of course, he'll always have people like Pam Bondi who can run cover for him like they always do.
In February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
Talk about verbal gymnastics. Any more and she might actually qualify for the 2028 Olympics right here in Los Angeles. So look, I hope that Trump supporters out there recognize the con. Donald Trump got what he needed out of all of you and refuses to stand by his word. Elon was well aware of who Trump was and kept quiet only until he could use it as political leverage for himself. These people swept into office pretending to defeat the deep state. This is what the deep state is: a bunch of wealthy, powerful elites looking to protect themselves and their own interests. These are the very people Trump pretended to want to fight against, when in reality, the perpetrators are Trump and his allies themselves.
On her way to work one morning, down the path, along the lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor, half-frozen snake. "Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman," sighed that vicious snake. She clutched him to her bosom. "You're so beautiful," she cried. "But if I hadn't brought you in by now, you truly would have died." She stroked his pretty skin again and kissed him and held him tight. But instead of saying thank you, the snake gave her a vicious bite. "Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman," sighed the vicious snake. "I saved you," cried the woman, "and you've bitten me. But why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die." "Shut up, silly woman," said the reptile with a grin. "You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in."
Before you go, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we are now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they are willing to cater to this administration. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a way for me to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link right here on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support me and my team. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.